Welcome to Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt podcast with your host, Sabrina Brightstar. Are you a woman who manages her own set point? Use the universal laws of the universe to raise your vibration. Be a woman who can receive more pleasure, more fun, and more joy. Together, let's claim our infinite worth. Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt is a fun way to remind yourself to mind your own business. Zero in on you and your desires. Say goodbye to judgments and people-pleasing. Join Sabrina and be a woman who can receive, create, and actualize everything you desire.
Hello and welcome. Keep Your Hand in Your Skirt. My name is Sabrina. I am your host, Keep Your Hand in Your Skirt podcast. Have you been minding your own business, managing your own set point? Today's topic is about being single. What is your point of view about being single? But before we get started on today's topic, I did want to invite you to, I am having a spring sale at my website, sabrinabrightstar.com. And in particular, you might really enjoy the digital course challenge, Raise Your Vibration game. It is a 13-day challenge where you receive a challenge, a truth or dare game by me to help you raise your vibration. Some of the challenges are silly and goofy. Some of them might make you a little uncomfortable. And that's great, right? Sometimes it's great to be a little uncomfortable because sometimes in our discomfort, it helps us, right? It helps us to raise our vibration because we're experiencing something new, something different, and it can turn out to be just a great game to play to really lift up your spirits for the spring, because we're coming into summer, so and no better time than now. So anyway, check that out at sabrinabrightstar.com. Today I want to talk about being single. Are you single? Do you know single people? What do you tend to feel is the general consensus about being single? And we're going to find a huge spectrum, right? Because some people really value it and they feel really inspired and empowered by being single. Other people have the point of view, a scarcity point of view, a fear-based point of view about being single. And so some people actually stay in relationships much longer than some people in relationships are afraid to leave because they have scarcity, they have fear that they don't know who is going to be their next person, and they don't want to go through the process of finding their next person. So even though they're in a connection, a relationship where they feel invisible, or maybe they feel like their needs are dismissed or ignored, or maybe just pieces of who they are just are not even, are being hidden and suppressed from themselves because the person they're with, that's not a match for them. So they're choosing to cut off pieces of themselves in order to stay in the connection, in order to have somebody. Somebody is better than nobody. That's what you hear. Is that your truth? Is that your belief? Somebody is better than nobody? They actually say the loneliest person is the person in a relationship but is not seen or heard, because you have that illusion like, well, I have a partner, I have a connection, I have a lover, but the lover does not see you, and so you have so much loneliness, you have so much experiences of being invisible. So some people will choose to stay in a relationship because they have fear-based thoughts. They have scarcity thoughts, like they're not enough. So if you are thinking about leaving a relationship, and this is about you, or you're actually a single person, what is your point of view about being single? And could you, if you want, change your point of view about it? If you are hating the experience of being single, if you are having a rotten time, could you choose to flip the way you think about it? When you change your point of view changes, right? Change the way you think about it and the thing you look at. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change, right? A basic spiritual teaching, right, that we see in from Abraham Hicks, from Bashar. So if you're not loving your dating, being single experience, what could be some new thoughts or ideas that you could plant? And one thought that I had just recently heard in a Shetty podcast that I just love, and that's why I wanted to talk about it today, is they were talking about often you don't know who you are. So when you don't know yourself, right, because of age and experience, right, when you're in your 20s, you don't know yourself. You spent your first, 20 years being told what to do, how to do it by teachers, by your family, by the school systems, maybe by the religious systems. And then you go out and you become yourself, but you haven't figured out who you are. So your 20s are supposed to be that period where you discover you. But many of us didn't take our 20s to discover who we are, right? We didn't take our 20s, so we never figured out who we are. We get in relationship with someone, and this person has a dominant interest, right? They know for sure what kind of sports they like. They know for sure what kind of foods they like. They know for sure what kind of activities they like. And when you don't know yourself, it's easy to go, oh, I like that food. That food's really yummy. Okay. Or, oh, I like that sporting event. Like, that's really fun. And it's easy to just be conditioned to take on your person's interest. So a lot of times then the relationship doesn't work because you came to the relationship not knowing or fully learning about yourself before you got in connection. And then you just started pairing with who they are. But that's not who you are, but you don't know who you are. And a lot of times it's not even that, this is what they were saying on the podcast I thought was so good. Like a lot of times relationships can't work until you get to know you. So you go through a breakup, and instead of going and trying to find that next person right away, what if you would take that opportunity? What if you would take that situation as a golden opportunity to get to know you? Like, what do you like? Who are you? What are your values, right? And you can't get to know you if you don't ever have the time, right? If you don't take the time and the space to just be with you. And they say so many people are uncomfortable and afraid to be alone, right? Like, they don't like silence. They don't want to be with their own thoughts. They don't want to discover who they are because it's fear of the unknown. It's uncomfortable. They're used to being busy. They're used to doing what their partner wants. They're used to doing what their friends want. And so their life is just busy. And then to strip that all away and just to go within, that can be intimidating. But what happens if you could embrace that it's okay to be uncomfortable, learning to acclimate to be alone? Not lonely, but to be alone. To be alone to get to know yourself. And I thought that was one of the best things I've ever heard. And if I was teaching a school, right? If I was teaching a school for teenagers, like, this would be probably the number one thing I would want them to know, right? Well, money, you teach them about money, right? But to know, like, you're learning who you are, discovering yourself, taking time for yourself, self-awareness, self-reflection. It's a time in deal. You don't you don't just quickly, you can't go to one restaurant and know all the foods that you like. All you get is the foods from that restaurant. So it's a time in deal to go to a variety of different restaurants, to go to a variety of different cuisines, right? To discover what flavors you like. And if we could relax and be like, okay, being single, like, what if being single is just this really great opportunity for me to get to know me, for me to invest in myself, for me to get comfortable with myself. And maybe after a few months, right? And because people will change, maybe like that first week you hate it, and then maybe by the end of the month you're starting to get used to it. But if you would give yourself 30 days or 90 days to get to know yourself, who you are at the end of those 90 days is going to be different than who you are at the beginning if you never allowed yourself any time for your own personal space, your own personal, like, to go try things. And I know, like, some friends that have done, I haven't done it, but there's a book club that you can join, Artist Way. That's it. It's called Artist Way. And in that book, they teach you to take yourself out on a date, to take yourself on a date every week. Like, be the best lover you've ever had, right? Like, doesn't that sound fun and challenging and also scary? But that's how we grow, right? That's how we evolve, is when we try new things, even if it's a little scary. So truth or dare. I'm bringing it back to truth or dare. Truth or dare. I dare you. I dare you to challenge yourself to try some new things. And you get, something happens in the reason playing truth or dare raises your set point and raises your confidence is because something happens in your brain when you do something that you're uncomfortable with. Like, it elevates your consciousness because you become proud of yourself. Even if you flopped at it, even if you didn't succeed at it, there's a raising of your vibration when you physically take on something, right, that is new and different and a challenge. So I'm challenging you, whether you're single or not, whether you're in a relationship or not. I'm challenging you. Like, wouldn't it be fun? Like, if we just got really comfortable with the unknown, maybe not super comfortable for you, but how about just a little bit of more uncomfortable with the unknown, with trying new things, with going on dates by yourself, right? Have you ever gone to the movies by yourself? Have you gone to restaurants by yourself? Not with your cell phone, but just with you and you. The relationship you have with you is the longest relationship you will ever have. So why not make it a good one? Why not make it a juicy one? Why not have the time of your life with yourself? And I'm playing, but not really. Not really, because if somebody would have told me this as a child, as a teenager, that the relationship between me and myself is the most important relationship I will ever have, because the way I treat myself is going to determine how I let everybody else treat me. And if I don't treat myself very well, I will be okay with other people not treating me well. I will give them a pass because I don't expect that much. So if I want to raise what I'm looking for, if I want to raise the quality of my friendships, my containers, of my relationships, of my lover, if I want to have that raised, then I got to raise it within me first. So I will become a match, a vibrational match to who I have become and what feels acceptable in my body and in my heart. So I just wanted to take that time to talk about that today. I hope you are having a great day, and I look forward to playing the Truth or Dare relationship challenge with you. Thanks for listening.
Manage your own set point. Use tools to change your vibration. Raise your set point. Thank you for listening to the Keep Your Hands in Your Skirt podcast. Make sure to subscribe and please leave a review. We really appreciate that effort, and we'll catch you in the next episode.